you for joining us. My name is Ava Rich, and I'd like to welcome you to Ask the Expert Goal Setting for the ADHD Brain. Today's webcast is part of CHAD's National Resource Center on ADHD's Ask the Expert series. The NRC is funded by the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and provides reliable, science-based information about current medical research and ADHD management. During this webinar, we would love to hear from you. You can ask questions or share comments at any time during the presentation. Linda Larson-Schlitz will answer questions after the presentation is complete. Also, there will be a box labeled Resources where you can download the slides for today's presentation. If we don't get to your question today, we have health information specialists available Monday through Friday, between 1 and 5 p.m. Eastern Time. You can reach them at 800-233-4050. I'm pleased to introduce today's Ask the Experts, Ms. Linda Larson-Schlitz. Ms. Larson-Schlitz is the founder and president of Faucet of Hope Ministries, LLC. This Wausau, Wisconsin-based organization is dedicated to helping others realize their purpose and potential as a faucet of God's love. Linda has a master's degree in guidance counseling and has worked for nearly 25 years with children and adults to help them overcome barriers to be all that they were created to be. Linda has worked as a school counselor, an outpatient therapist, a college professor, and an employment and training counselor. She has spent 14 years volunteering as the founder-president of Radlin Adult Family Care Home, Inc., a nonprofit organization she co-founded, helping homeless, chemically independent, and mentally ill adults rehabilitate their broken lives. Linda is a singer-songwriter with a CD called Quiet Times and has several published works, including the book Ditzy Blonde Faucet, It's a God's Thing. Linda's positive outlook, determination, and commitment to be an inspiration to others like herself who has struggled with substance abuse, mental illness, and a host of other life issues earned her 2010 Red Cross Heroes of the Year and the prestigious Athena Award that same year. Again, we are pleased to welcome Ms. Linda Larson-Schlitz. Ms. Larson-Schlitz, if you'd like to begin today's Ask the Expert presentation.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I am really pleased to be able to share my experience, strength, and hope with the rest of the world that might be listening, because I know I am not alone, and I believe that I was prevented from committing suicide back in 1976 so that I could be here today to share this message. And I say prevented in that there was definitely intervention by specifically a 16-year-old girl who shared with me that there was a better plan for my life than the chaos that was going on in and out of my life. And I think those of us who do have mental illness and other kinds of issues, I did not know I had ADHD until I was 28 years old, many years after I finally decided I was going to make a change and quit drinking and quit using drugs. But I think we all have issues of some sort or another. And if you're listening to this broadcast, you more than likely understand what attention deficit hyperactivity disorder is and what it does. And this particular workshop that I'm doing today on goal setting is probably one of the most challenging things for those of us with ADHD. I know for me, it is a real difficult thing to be able to manage the goals. And my goal that I have every morning when I get up is usually to do my meditations. And then if I'm going somewhere, it is to remember my phone, not forget my keys, be able to find them, and then to get in the car. And once I get in the car, it is my goal to not drive up the wrong way on a one-way street in a town I've lived for 35 years, or to not do something else like drive through a stop sign. Now, these may seem like pretty crazy goals, but truly, if you're listening, I know you know what I'm talking about because these are very typical things. And when goals seem so simple for the normal person out there, you shouldn't have to set goals to do these things, but we have to specifically concentrate and make a decision to do that. And why we don't even set goals, I think some of our problems with goal setting are things like not doing the the basic things that we want to do. So what happens with the goal setting thing is when we have challenges, we don't even set the goals. We don't have any. We don't want any goals. We have too many of them. Sometimes they change every minute because we're impulsive and something happens and then we're off on a new tangent. Sometimes we can't find the list of goals that we wrote. Sometimes we won't follow them anyway. So we go, what's the point? Why should we even try? Because it is just doesn't make sense for us to keep doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. So then we have to ask ourselves, why? What is our why? Why do we want to do this change? Are we sick of hearing the comments? Are we sick of the overwhelm that transpires when we've got chaos upon chaos upon chaos? And I know that you probably feel like this is, I looked this morning in my pile of papers like this for this overview and I couldn't find it. So we spend a lot of time sometimes looking for things that we can't find. And I'm asking today, are you tired of feeling like a failure? Because if you are, there is a plan for you and you're not alone, because over 45% of people actually blow their New Year's resolutions in the very first week of goal setting. And of course, here we are coming up to New Year's. If you're listening to this when it was recorded, we're right about coming up to New Year's. And of course, every year I said, this is it. I'm going to eat like a pig until New Year's Eve. And then I'm going to start. I'm going to get rid of all the junk in the house and I'm going to start. But only 8% of people actually follow through. But it really doesn't have to be that way. So, what is the secret of accomplishing these goals? The number one reason people don't follow through with their goals is the why is just not big enough. The why meaning what is your purpose and your passion? If they aren't clear on what you want in life, you're not going to reach those goals. And my question to you is, do you know what your why is? Do you know what you're going to do? So, what we have to do before we do anything else with goal setting is to figure out what do you do next. That's the key to this whole thing. And it is time for a butt-ectomy. A butt-ectomy. I came up with this because I was challenged with the thought that but is an argument for our limitations. And when you argue for your limitations, guess what? You get to keep them. I'm going to say that again. But is an argument for your limitations. And when you argue for your limitations, you get to keep them. So, what are some of those limitations? Well, some of them are all of the things that we make excuses for. So they gave a great introduction for me. So I'm not going to repeat who I am, what I do, but I have spent, I've been licensed for over 25 years. I have spent over almost 30 years working with kids and families of people like me that have problems. And I believe this is my purpose and my passion is to share with you what I've been through, how I have overcome some of these and how I continue to struggle day by day with these issues and identifying for myself what is that why. So here's the problem with the but. The buts that we have, there's a whole bunch of them. And one of the first ones that we have is, but I don't know where to start. But you don't understand my mess. but you don't understand. I am too busy to do this, but I have too much stress in my life, but I'm torn too many directions, but I will fail anyway, so why try? But, these are the excuses that we all make, and I make them too. But I didn't get time because I had to respond to that crisis. But gee, I had to answer my Facebook post, but my email did that little ding, or my phone went off, and I had to look at that. We just make so many excuses for why we aren't doing what we're called to do, and for some of us, we just don't even know what that is. So my solution to this whole thing, I call the paradigm of the faucet. A paradigm is something that is change. It is a change in thinking from what we normally think. And unfortunately, we were all put in a box from the moment we were born as to whether or not we were normal. And normal is an unfortunate thing. It starts off with the APGAR scale. It starts off with whether or not we are good enough, whether or not we are doing the right things, and all of that. And normal is whether we're meeting somebody else's standards. But this paradigm is a bit of a shift for that. And what the first step to that paradigm is you were created for a purpose, and you are life or death to those who need what only you can bring them. It's hope. You can bring people hope because nobody else has ever been there doing what you're doing. So that's step one. Step two of this is that no one who has ever come before you or who will ever come after you can change the world like you can. And I'm sure a lot of you are going, what can I do to change the world? Listen, you're doing it every moment of every day. Whether you have kids, whether you're married, whether you're working, you impact people for the good or for the bad, for the positive or for the negative, every moment of every day. We all have an extremely important place in the world. And because you have specific skills, gifts, talents, and abilities nobody else that has in the world. Plus, you impact people. You are with people every day that nobody else is around. It's really, really important that you understand this concept that you have to be available to the rest of the world. And it doesn't matter if you're the best, most polished faucet in the world. What matters is that you are available and willing to be used to share what you have given when it's needed. So if think about it this way, you're out in the desert, maybe you're at a ball game, maybe you're somewhere else and you're thirsty. If you're out in the middle of the desert and somebody has water, it doesn't matter. I'm a farmer. I grew up baling hay. And when you come in from baling hay or from out of the hay mow, you are thirsty. And where's the hose? Oh, it's over in the milk or in the tank where the cows have been drinking. Do I care? No. I've been known to drink right out of that same tank the cows drink because I was so thirsty. I thought I was going to faint if I didn't get that drink. So the point is, it doesn't matter where that faucet, if that faucet is perfect, what if it's a little bit rusty? What if it is messed up in some way, little bit dirty? Does it matter if someone's dying of thirst? No. What matters is that that thing is working and there is stuff coming through that. For me, that stuff coming through that is hope. And the hope that I get from my spiritual experience, which is God. So I just look at myself as a vessel of God's hope. And perhaps you will come to see that for yourself as well. So the third one, or the fourth one in this process, oops, skipped it. The fourth one is because you are so good at what you do, believe it or not, and people need what you have, they will drink from your well of hope. I'm sure you have all had somebody call you up. Can you take me to the doctor? Can you take me to the grocery store? Can you pick up my kid from school? Can you do this? Can you do that? Or your boss. Somebody is asking something of you that only you can do. and you're good at it, or they wouldn't be asking you. If they didn't trust you to do the thing they're asking you to do, they wouldn't be asking you to do it. They'd be checking with someone else. The only time they might not ask you is if you continually say, no, I can't, I'm not good enough. But they will drink from your well. And because you are so desperately needed, the fifth thing you need to understand is that you must invest in becoming the best you can be so you can do what you're meant to do and leave a legacy of hope. I did not dare step out and do this for many years because I didn't think I was good enough. I didn't think I was organized enough that I could put together a PowerPoint and actually show up on time and do this. But I am a proof in the pudding that if you focus, and we hate that word, but and I needed help, folks. I needed to hire a coach. I had counselors. I paid money to get to where I'm at today because we need each other. Now there are a lot of free services out there, and I'm willing to give you one of those as well to get you on the right track. But you've got to invest your time, your energy, and sometimes your money to do this. The top priority is hope. Giving you hope, giving you the H for help, the O for opportunity, the P, the praise, and the E, the encouragement that you need. And that is what our goal is and our purpose is in the world, is to give others that help, opportunity, praise, and encouragement that they need as well. Now, hope to me, the help may be workshops like this, some individual coaching. The opportunity is what Chad has given me, is to be on this seminar today, the opportunity to be a blessing to you. And the praise which they've already given me, oh, thank you for doing this. You did a great job, that sort of thing. And the encouragement, you can do this, don't give up trying. Those are what we need from others and we can give to others. Life is only a desert wasteland if we do not let our experience change us to make our lives a paradise of living water that will quench the thirst of all who come to drink from our well of victorious challenges we give them hope. Now, that may sound like a big mouthful, and it is, but life is only a desert wasteland. We may feel like we have wasted our lives doing nothing. We may come to the end of our time, which I'll tell you, my husband's been in the hospital in intensive care twice, 3 times in the last month. And you don't know when your life is going to be over. And we may look back and go, oh, it's such a wasteland. It does not have to do. If we have to not let our experiences, we got to let our experiences change us so that people see that we can overcome these. And that'll quench their thirst for those who come to us and go, thank you for giving me hope that I can do this. That's my goal. I want it to be your goal. So the first thing we have to do in setting the goals is evaluate yourself. You've got to look at where are you at right now? What's your stumbling blocks? What are your issues? What is your why for why you want to change? And for me, that happens with meditation. I am writing a book now called Speak to Me, God, I'm Listening. And I'll tell you, that's the goal I have, is I want to do what God has prepared me to do, what I'm good at. And sometimes I just don't know. So I sit with a pen and the paper and quiet, and I listen and write what you hear. Call him God, call him whatever you want. It might be just your inner knowing. There is that thing inside that you know what you're supposed to be doing, but how do you do it? The first thing you got to do is write it down. And then you got to prioritize. What's the must do that you have to come up with to do that? What is your should do, your want to do, and you're absolutely don't be doing this if you want to get to that next level. And you need SMART goals. Your goals need to be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. Specific means I need to, not for me, this is something I've learned as a person with ADHD. I'm 63 years old now. I've been on medication for over 30 years, on and off, tried a bunch of different things. The best medication I have found for my body is not eating gluten. Gluten is anything made with wheat. Yes, it's a challenge, but there's tons of stuff out there, and that has helped my thing, my life more than anything, my focus, my anxiety, all of those things. And specific for this example, specific is not eating gluten. It's measurable, whether I do or whether I don't, or whether I had one piece of pizza or 10 pieces of pizza. It's measurable. Is it achievable? Absolutely achievable. Is it realistic? Yep, I have found it is realistic. Difficult? Yes, but realistic. And is it timely? Yes, because today matters. I take one day at a time. Some days today I'm taking 1 minute at a time because I have Christmas cookies downstairs. And whether or not I'm going to meet my SMART goal to not go eat them is up to me. But I know what I need to do in order to reach that goal. And what are the rewards? You got to play it to the end. And I'm going to continue to use this example because I have blown it a lot the last few days. What is the end result? I'm going to feel yucky. My mind is not going to be very clear. I'm going to have anxiety. I'm going to wake up in the night. For me, this is what happens. I'm going to go, my to-do list is so overwhelming that I get paralyzed. So what are the rewards and the consequences if you reach your goals? Get your kitchen cleaned up, get your living room. Those are challenges for me. If I'm going to, quote, clean the house, it is a nightmare because I go start in the kitchen and I find something in the kitchen that's supposed to be in the living room. So I take it in the living room and then I get sidetracked and I'm in the living room. A goal for me is to stay in the kitchen and get her done. So one tool I've learned is to put a basket or a box in the doorway of the kitchen so I can't leave the kitchen until I'm done without stepping over the box. Just put the stuff that goes in another room in the box. And best maybe to have boxes to go to different rooms. You've got to have those tools. So knowing that if you don't reach it, something negative is going to happen, and then give yourself the kudos for the next thing. I have learned that the 1 minute manager is really helpful. If you haven't read the book, get the book, and then get the second book on the monkey and the 1 minute manager. What this is setting a reasonable goal for the day. I gave you the example of the gluten. Another one for me is finishing my laundry. You go down, you got to do it. Put it in the basket, go downstairs, put it in the washer. Then don't let it sit for 2 days and have to do it over. Set a timer. Go down there. Go, good for me. I did it. I actually set a timer. I got it from the washing machine into the dryer. Set another timer. Go down there. Now fold the clothes, hang them up, put them away. That's another goal. If you get off track, your reprimand would be, okay, it's been 3 hours, then your clothes are probably wrinkled. That's my consequence. Put them on for another 10 minutes and they'll maybe unwrinkle, but set that goal and give yourself some praise. Good job. You didn't leave them in for 2 days. You only left them in for 3 hours. So go to the next thing and don't get in that pity pot and that negative, oh, I really screwed up. I'm worthless. I'm dumb. Don't do that. Give yourself 1 minute to get back on track and then give yourself the praise. We need 8 positives for every negative. You need to learn to do that for yourself because trust me, you are not going to get 8 positives from the rest of the world every day. Honest, 8 positives is hard to come by. You got to give them to yourself. So you need to get the help, and you can't do this alone. You really can't. Oops, I think I messed something up here. So you need help for keeping on track. You got to take care of yourself. So I do this with people, and this is part of my workshops that I'm going to offer you an opportunity to consider is getting that support. I've got 2 different groups now that I've taken through my 8-week series, and we do what I call the 3 Gs. This is good to do for yourself as well, but accountability is better. If you're doing this with others, they can help you keep accountable. First thing is, what are you grateful for? Wake up in the morning. What are you grateful for? And then what are you good at? Think about it. What are you good at? And it might be the same thing several days, but sometimes your thing for the day is, I'm good at getting up and doing my 3 Gs every day. And then the third G is, what are your goals for the day? So if you haven't written this down, what are you grateful for? What are you good at? What are your goals for the day? And once you get those things down, then you're on your that's a good first step. If you take medication, then take your medication. Don't forget to do that, because it's not very good sitting on a shelf. Try eating the healthy thing. If you've never tried not eating gluten or not doing the sugar thing, try it for even a few days will help. But if you can do it for a week to 10 days, I'm telling you, you're going to feel a difference. And if you don't realize there's been a difference, try eating a huge piece of lasagna and some garlic bread the next day, and you're going to feel it if you have a sensitivity to gluten. So the sugar-free thing, yeah, sugar really does a number on us too. Exercise. Oh my gosh, everything you read, exercise. That's the secret. That's the clue. That's the thing. Exercise. And it's hard to get into routines to do that, but you have to develop routines. If you don't have routines, you're going to really struggle. And I've got some people that are really helpful on coaching on the routine thing, but I can help you with that. And don't overcommit yourself. We have a tendency, because we're impulsive, to take on more than what is realistic in the day. If it's not on your goal list for the day, don't jump on that until you go back, reevaluate your goal sheet, and see what the end result is going to be. Is this going to be beneficial to you in the big picture, or is it just something that you're doing because you got low self-esteem and you think somebody will give you that praise you need to do that right now today? If you don't have time to go and do something, or answer the phone, more than likely it's not a crisis. Sometimes if you got a person that's in crisis, maybe, but really develop that routine and review your progress daily. Go back and look, how did you do on your goals for the day? Don't look at 50 of them. If you've got 50 of them and you accomplished 2, give yourself credit that you got 2. 50 was unrealistic. So take that to the next level. And don't be so hard on yourself, because nobody is perfect. We have to look at progress, not perfection. Nobody's perfect. So if you've gotten, like I said, 2 out of 50, great. You've got 2 out of 50. You've got 48 to do, but don't put the other 48 on your list tomorrow. You might want to just realistically put 2 or 3 on. So if you just do one thing, give yourself credit. You got to be cautious of our rewards. Some of us have given ourselves permission to go out and celebrate. That's what I did for many years. Oh man, let's go party. So you go out and you get drunk, and then you're hungover the next day, and then you don't get anything accomplished and you feel sick. It's terrible. It might be drugs. It might be eating. Oh, I'm going to go eat a half a dozen cookies and have a pizza. Okay, that's not going to help me. It might be gambling or spending or anything else we do in excess are not good rewards. But some of the better choices for us is to maybe listen to music. Don't make it have to be a huge thing. It might be going and sitting down for a half an hour and just listening to whatever you want to listen to. Taking a bath, pamper yourself, go to a movie or maybe a festival, or out for dinner, coffee, manicure, haircut, get a cleaning lady. I'm serious. If you think of how much money that you could be making, or how much more you could accomplish doing what only you can do, if you get a cleaning lady or somebody to come over and do your laundry, so you spend $10, how much is that going to save you in sanity and in the big picture than if you did something like that yourself that somebody else could very easily do without training? Maybe it's going to a Packer game. I'm from Wisconsin. That might be your reward, not mine. It's too cold here to go sit at a Packer game, but maybe I could watch it. So I want you to consider the fact that you can do this. You can do this. Um, I want you to invest in yourself. And this is a matter of time to do a free strategy session with me. All you have to do is click on Hope Coaching when you go to my website, LindaLarsonSchlitz.com, and you can do this. So your free strategy session. I'll spend a half hour, 45 minutes with you. You're going to get a bonus audio from my book and my people's favorite chapter, Who Stole My Car? Chapter from the Ditzy Blonde Faucet. It's a God Thing book. It is my testimony on my insanity and what I live with every day. I'm going to share with you my experience in working with you and other people's experience. I had one lady who wrote, Linda's been amazing, insightful, profoundly helpful with me organizing my priorities. I find her to be incredibly compassionate, but also willing to ask the questions which need to be considered in a safe environment of support, empathy, encouragement, and immediate feedback. Thanks, Linda, for what you've done. This is from Jennifer Hannibal. She's an independent marketing director with Team National in Texas. So I would love for you uh, to have the opportunity to let me see if I can help you. Maybe I am your faucet of hope. I may be, I may not be, but you won't know unless you invest in yourself and go to my website and sign up. Go to the free strategy session under Hope Coaching, and we'll get together and we'll talk about it and see. And maybe you'll want to join my 8-week group that will help you get those goals going and find your purpose, find your why, and then the strategies on how to make that happen. So I really would love you to do that. The book again is the Ditzy Blonde Faucet. It's a God thing. You can find that on the internet, so you can just Google me. But I will give you a free chapter of that if you are interested, and a huge discount if you want the downloadable copy. So I'm so grateful that I've had the opportunity to do this and to share with you. And now I'd love to answer any questions that you might have so that I can help you along in your strategies and the things that you might be interested in. So back to you guys, back to Robin. Thanks so much.
Ms. Marcia Slits, thank you for the presentation. I think you've provided our participants with helpful information they can use with their families. As a reminder to our participants, you can submit your questions using the question box. If you have your questions or if you have difficulties with your questions, you can email us at asktheexpert@chad.org. Um, we are going to go ahead and jump into the questions now. All right. Okay, so our first question for today is how can we identify sources of encouragement?
Oh, that is a great question. And you know what? We jump to conclusions that we don't have any, but if you look at your family, your friends, your coworkers, and it might be a little scary, but I can guarantee you, if you go to them and tell them that you're gathering some positive feedback from people who know you, go to them and say, what do you see in me that are some of my strengths? You're going to get a whole list of them, and I encourage you to do that. They will give you that support, but also joining some of the groups. I know Chad has got a ton of different groups that you can join, but again, look at that, and you know what? Your biggest source of encouragement is yourself. So you got to be your biggest support person, and that will help. But get some other people, your friends, your family, or some of our groups that can help you with that. So good question. Thank you.
All right, wonderful. Okay. So our next question, we would like to learn more about your experiences, Ms. Larson.
Oh wow. I that's why I started my number one of about probably 500 chapters of my book. Lots of experiences in life, but in goal setting in particular. And I know one of the questions also is finding balance, is really taking the time. The thing that I tended not to do was to take the time to sit back and listen to myself, listen to my higher power, listen to that inner voice that is telling me what to do, and taking time to relax. Sit back. What really matters in your life? What really matters? And I also have a daily meditation thing that I send out to people on how to do this and what my experiences are every day on this process. What I do with that is I ask myself a question, what's the issue today? And then my daily meditations that come out is really based on a 12-step program because I am in recovery. Really, we're all in recovery from something. If you have ADHD, you're recovering every day from the trauma that you go through looking for stuff. So I go through that. What is the issue that I need to deal with today? That's what I do in the morning or at night. What do I need to deal with? What is going to be a possible stumbling block? And then I sit quietly and I listen for an answer. For me, a lot of mine comes from the Bible. You may have one-liners you're seeing, you get little things on your Facebook page that are encouraging words. You look at that. Then for me it is okay, I'm really going to do this. I'm really going to commit this. And then the next step is just listening for that still small voice. I do it with a pen. I go, okay, God, what's the solution to this? And then I just start writing because I believe we all have that solution inside. That's the experiences that have changed my life and my ability to goal set and reach things more than anything else. And keeping balance is, again, goal setting. If you haven't decided in the morning that you're going to have a balanced life, it is going to go helter skelter because, again, that impulsivity takes us off track. Turn the phone off, turn the Facebook stuff off. Don't do anything with that until you have your life set. And then when you're doing something, you're cleaning the kitchen, that's your goal for the next half hour. They say 25 minutes is a good thing. Go uninterrupted for 25 minutes. Put your phone down, don't answer it. And then after you're done with that goal, go back, listen. Then you can answer your phone calls and your little messages. Take 10 minutes to do that and then get back on track. That's what I have found works for me.
Thank you, Miss Larson. That is very specific and very straight to the point with the details. Thank you so much. So our next question is, how can we keep a balance between opportunity and helping?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Opportunity and helping. I think there are always opportunities, tons of opportunities. Again, for me, I have to sit back and I do several things. One is that still small voice, that meditation. And for me, it's pray about, okay, I got all this opportunity. What do I do? And to be honest, this is my greatest challenge because I love to do many things. I'm artistic and got lots of different things I like to do. But I rely on my coaches and my friends and my recovery sponsors to help me look at my life and go, Linda, you're biting off way more than you can chew. Why don't you focus on what you do best, which is what I'm doing right now, helping people learn and give them hope. That's what all my coaches and my friends and my people have said. What you do best is give people hope. So, how can I do this in the greatest magnitude? And sometimes there are crisis opportunities that you need, but that's where, rely on those other people in your life and listen to that still small voice to figure out what it is that you can do to best help them.
Sounds great. Our next question is more so involving organization and investing ourselves. What can we do to get organized and invest in ourselves?
Well, I think, like Jennifer had said in her kind recommendation of me, is organizing for a lot of us people with ADHD and other mental health issues, and some of us don't even know we have them. Organizing can be so overwhelming, we become absolutely paralyzed in what do we do next. Most of us need help, to be honest. Most of us if you wouldn't be listening to this, you wouldn't be seeking help, wondering how to get organized if you knew how to do it yourself. One of my challenges is papers. I have a hard time figuring out where to put them, how to organize them, and then what to do with them once I organize them rather than putting them in another box to be organized at a different time. I have boxes upon boxes of organized stuff that haven't gotten to where they need to go yet, even after all these years. So I get people periodically to come in and help me and then make my list of stuff that, so I know where it is, because I truly am not good at that. That's part of it too. The serenity prayer is accept the things you cannot change the things you can, and have the wisdom to know the difference. Don't think you can do this by yourself. I can't stress that enough. You can't do all this by yourself. We have a chemical imbalance in our brains, gluten or no gluten, pills or no pills, strategies or no strategies. There are just some things we are not good at, and that's okay. But there are other people who are experts, and you may be cheating them of their opportunity to do what they love because you don't hire them or you don't give them the opportunity. And really, when you look at opportunity, some people need it and you're the only one that can give it. So invest in yourself in that way and everybody will be happy.
Thank you.
I
You
hope
gave
that
us a
answered the
great,
question.
yes, it did. Thanks. That was an interesting tip. We really appreciate that. So, moving forward, we have 8 positives for every 1 negative. What are types of phrases you would suggest?
Oh, for me, you can do this. Um, don't sweat the small stuff. I go back to some verses that I've memorized. Don't be anxious about anything, but in everything, just pray. God will take care of it. That, hey, looking to my friends, well, some of these things. Here's one that has been not only the best, it's been the best anxiety thing as well as the best marital advice I ever got. You might want to write this one down. Expectations are premeditated resentments. Expectations are premeditated resentments. What that means is that when I expect stuff from myself and others, I set myself up to be hurt, angry, upset, and resentful because I didn't reach those goals or I didn't get what I wanted. And if you think about the last time you got angry, whether it was at yourself or someone else, it's because they didn't do something you thought they should, or they did do something that you didn't want them to do. And apply this to yourself. Oh, I ate gluten again. Darn it. Shame on me. I'm so rotten. I'm so stupid. I'm so dumb. No, no, no. It's like back to that 1 minute manager. The 8 positives are, you know what? You recognize that you did something that wasn't helpful to you. You put down a new goal to get back on track. Look at you. You are on track. Good for you, Linda. You did it. You're going back on track. And boy, I feel good about myself. I am giving myself positive self talk. See how easy that is to just switch your thinking? But I'll tell you what, when I started this, I had to write it all down. I had to have it pasted all over my house because they don't come naturally. Our whole world focuses on the negative. So it's doable, but again, you may need help with getting some of those things. You can just Google it, positive things I can say to myself, and you'll have a whole bunch. But I'm really good at this, and I'd love to help you in that strategy session, give you some of those tips.
All right, thank you so much. I think we have about 1 or 2 more questions, so we'll go ahead on and move on to the next. What suggestions can you give to teens and young adults for goal setting and accomplishment?
Oh, this is good. And I know I've had some parents in the past that have asked, what do I do to motivate my teen? They're not doing well in school. I can't get them to focus. And I believe we have to go way back to the beginning. And again, find your students' why. Find what works for them. Find what they love to do and somehow turn those things into it. if their goal, and I did this with a teen, I substitute teach for special ed in my school district just because I love giving hope to kids who really aren't fitting into the school system. And I had one young man, and they told me, oh gosh, he isn't going to do anything for you. If you can just get him to not be a interruption, then you've accomplished something. My first day I worked with him, I found out he was an artist. He loved doing art. He had a whole notebook full of art stuff that his teachers didn't even know about. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, this is fantastic. I would love to turn this into a wall hanging and make it real. Let's do that. If you can get your math done, as soon as you get your math done, we can work on this today. He had his entire week of math done by Wednesday morning, so we had the whole rest of the week to work on art. And they were just astounded. But see, we have to do a lot of changes in the way we think. And if, as parents, the school isn't going to do this more than likely, so you as parents and you as teens have to do this for yourself. You want to have fun, play games, do your whatever you want to do, get that stuff done first. Yeah, you don't want to do it, it's yucky. Get help. Don't think you have to do it alone. Ask your friends who are good at it. Get those tools. And I love working with kids. So feel free, if you're a parent listening, have your kids call me. I'd love to work with them to give them hope. And if you go on my website, I'm going to show you some awesome things. My granddaughter is now becoming a famous artist at the age of 14. And she sold 2 pieces of art this week, one for $60, one for $50. And it's doable so that you can get what you want. So please, again, call me. I'd love to help you with that.
Okay, we are coming to our last question. So this one is more for an adult. What are tips to help adults in their working career or working environment with improving their goal setting skills?
Oh, well, I was a career counselor for 15 years at the Job Center for the state of Wisconsin. And one thing that came home to me in a very clear manner is that if you don't love your job, if this isn't what you're passionate and created to do, you're either going to get sick mentally, physically, migraines, headaches, ulcers, all of those things, or you're going to quit or you're going to get fired. That is not the career plan that most of us want. So, again, that's the first order of business. Figure out, are you in the right job doing the thing that you're meant to do? And if so, what do you need to do to make that the best environment that it can be to set the goals that you need? It might be asking for accommodations. Me with a master's degree in counseling, you wouldn't think I'd need accommodations, but I did. I had to formally go ask my boss to let me use headphones and listen to music because I was so distracted in my little cubicle. I had to ask him for a flexible schedule because I worked better at different hours than the normal schedule. They're just, you've got to first off figure out, is this the right place for you? And if it's not, you've got to set goals to get out of there and get something else. Don't just go quit your job. Talk about stress. I did that. And, then you got the financial stress. So, first order of business, figuring out, is this your why? Are you at the right place, doing the right thing for the right reasons? And if so, how then go from there with goal setting. What does your boss think you need to do? What do you know you need to do? And what help you need to get there? That's the key.
Okay, well, everyone, this is all the time that we have for our webinar today. I'd like to thank you, Ms. Larson Slits, for a wonderful presentation and our participants for taking the time to join us today. If you enjoyed today's webinar, you can see this webcast again and others like it at help4adhd.org, help the number 4 ADHD.org/ask the expert.